Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here with the podcast, Pete Kane Podcast Show, and I'm Podcast Pete. So, podcasting with a purpose, 3 strategies that I use to grow my business. And if you can think a little differently about how you grow a business, the world is your oyster. Let me tell you why. Everything is about generating leads. If you do not have a lead generation strategy, you don't have a way to generate those leads, create cash flow, and build a thriving community, well, the world changed and it changed quickly. And so you have to think locally, but act globally. You have to understand the world changed. Everything is digital. We still operate locally. You still build relationships, but podcasting gives you the ability. I'm going to do 3 points that really strategies that made the business. It's going to be a global business, a $1 billion brand. It's a bold statement, but you got to think big. When you have all these emerging trends and you can position yourself ahead of those trends, not when they happen, you jump in because it's going to be so obvious in a year. But now it isn't. So let's get into it. So, why do we do podcasts? It's to build relationships. It's to build relationships. Inviting a person on our podcast is building a relationship. How many times can you have a conversation for 25 minutes with somebody today? You meet them, maybe you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Maybe you meet them in a networking event and you have distracted couple minutes because they're always distracted. We always are. That's just who we are. We got so much going on in our head. But when they're on your show, you have them. It's kind of like I remember somebody saying that in a salon or a barbershop, you have that person in your chair for 30 minutes. So, given that they can't get up and walk away, you have their attention for 30 minutes. Well, in podcasting, you have their attention. And even better than that, you're focusing on building the relationship and sharing their story. Who doesn't want to share their story? Because people remember stories. People buy from people. They don't buy from companies. So if you put yourself out there as a guest on a podcast, the podcast guest benefits, the podcast host benefits, and everybody wins. It's a win-win-win. So that's why when we ask you to be a guest on our podcast, it's a gift to you to share your story, not only online, which you do, and people love fresh content. People love podcasts, listening to podcasts. Look at what happened in the recent election. One person did 40 hours of podcasting, one hardly did any. One won, one got smoked because she didn't want to put herself out there. And if you don't want to put yourself out there for people to know, like, and trust you, how are they going to do business with you? So you put yourself out there, be a guest on our podcast, experience. I like to say it's kind of like Costco. For our U.S. Listeners, we all know Costco is value, but they have big portions. And you don't always want to buy a big portion unless, it's a good product. So you sample it, sample tables. Go into a Costco during their busy times. There's sample tables all over the place. What do they want you to do? Sample it. See if you like it. And if you like it, you'll buy it. So when we have you as a guest on the podcast, there's a lot of preconceived ideas of what a podcast is. Oh, I've never done it before, I hear. It's not my thing. Fear. Fear is what people buy into. It's just a conversation. And people, what if I say the wrong thing? What if? Have you ever made a mistake in your life? I'm not going to capture you like 60 minutes and edit it and do all this kind of crazy stuff. We're just going to share your story with our community. And when we share your story with our community, people get to know you, like you, and trust you. So you be talking from the heart. You share your story. You have a conversation with us. And that way, people are out there because it is so important. I'm going to show you some things. Let me see if I can get to it. Yeah, people buy from people. People buy from people. If you remember anything that I'm going over with Podcasting with a Purpose, it's about people. So when we're featuring you on our podcast, you're a person. So if you're running a company and you've been hiding behind your company, which a lot of times people do, I'm not asking you to tell me what you had for breakfast. I'm not asking you to tell me all your personal things, but I want to know your story. Why did you get into the business you're in? What do you like? What do you dislike? What has been your best challenge? What has been how you overcame that challenge? We're just going to get to know you, not all your personal stuff. That's your personal stuff. We just want the business world to know you. And when I tell people and I share with people about being a key person of influence and putting yourself out there and doing podcasts, don't think you're going to give up all your privacy. All you're doing is giving reasons for people to know you, like you, and trust you. So when you look at key person of influence, 7-11-4, that means 7 hours. In the new world that we're in, I meet you, I'm going to search and find out what the world says about you on your digital profile. It's not just Google anymore. I might do YouTube, I might do AI, I might do all different types of sources, but I want to see what people say about you. So when I do, and I've consumed 7 hours of you, there's an opportunity to get to know you. Then when I give you 11 buying signals, like take an assessment, buy a book, listen to a podcast, make a comment, doing different things, which you're saying, tell me more. I read your book. That could be 2 of the 7 hours. So in Daniel Priestley, I've read his book. I've listened to his book 8 times. I've listened to so much of his content. I feel like I know him like I know a brother because I have gone through the 7-11-4. I've seen him on 4 different platforms. I've bought every book he has, 5 of them. I have listened to so much of his podcast. I know him, I like him, and I trust him. That's why we do the same thing, because you have to know the 5 Ps, which is part of key person of influence. That's all it is. That's not all it is. It's a great book, but it's a book I got to know him better. Pitch. If you can't pitch your business, you're missing opportunities. Here's what I say. If I bump into you, I'm in the elevator. Hey, what do you do, Pete? I generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. That's it. If they say nothing, I say nothing. What do you do? I ask them questions. But if they say to me, how do you create cash flow? Well, we steer people in the direction of putting content out there, putting themselves out there. Because you first got to know, before you spend any money, you got to have a good pitch. So you got to work on that. It didn't come from me like 3 years ago. Oh, I know my pitch. No, I didn't. You evolve. It's just a business. You evolve. And when you evolve and you learn, and you're always learning, which is the second thing I did that I realized that I didn't know before I started, was learning. I learn from every guest. I learn from podcasts. I learn when I have a guest on there. I know their story. I bump into people 3 years later and I feel like I know them. because I spent 25 minutes with them, learning a little bit about their story. People remember stories. So you're always learning. So when you learn, you grow. When you grow, your business is going to grow. You have to grow first. So get your pitch down, build your digital profile, create products, make a good presentation, work on it, and then your partnerships. Because partnerships can be in various different ways. When you have these 5 P's down, partnerships just come out of the woodwork because you got your act together. You got the 5 P's. It's a sequence. First, pitch. Second, digital profile. What is a podcast? It's a digital asset. What is a book? It's an asset. What is a workshop? It's an asset. What is our masterclass? An asset. All these things are assets. People's value of their business is their assets. You have no assets, you have no value. And you always got to work on the demand. That's why it takes a little longer to do what we do. Daniel said the other day that in the couple years they've been doing this, 5 months. Could it be shorter? Yes. Because if I want to binge you and I want to learn you and I'm ready, which sometimes is only like 3%, maybe 10% are ready to spend the money. But most of what we do is free. So when a person is ready, they're ready to make an investment in themselves. They know the value that we created for them, because building thriving communities is your fuel to your rocket. And building thriving communities, we do it by this. So you'll probably see this. You can search relationship wheel, your key person of key strategic partners, because in this, let me see if I can make this bigger for you. Hold on, Nelly. Yeah, I think I can. Nope. Here, let me see. There we go. Okay. So you look at this relationship wheel. Remember we said relationship was number 1? Okay. You have a CPA. What does a CPA have? Lots of clients, lots of business clients. So you build a relationship with them. Attorney. Ideally, it's an IP attorney. In this case, a banker. What does banker have? Relationships with businesses. Insurance. A business insurance person. What do they have? Business companies. And it goes business broker. Other, that can be your podcast guest. Groups, different groups. Clients, payroll, software, coach, high performance coach, of which I am, and a real estate agent. So these are just a mock-up for you, but you have to make your own. And the way we do it, your network is your single biggest, most valuable asset. Nurture it. It's the goose that lays the golden egg. Think strategic versus tactical. Tactical would be going after one customer, one prospect. Strategy, thousands. Because when you build this out, and I'm going to show you how you do it, you get the 12 categories that are relevant to your business. You can print this out. We'll show you how you can do this. And then you have to start down with the categories. Who do you know that you know, like, and trust that you can fill in here? So in a banker, who do you know, like, and trust that's a banker? Invite them on your podcast, build a relationship with them. You probably already know them. So this first level is what we call crawl, or the gold. It's the easiest one, it's the low-hanging fruit. But each category, see the category here, has 3 in there. I mean, hypothetical. So you look like you're building a team, a key strategic team of 36 people. How long does it take you? It depends on you. It depends on how successful you've been at building relationships. You can invite them on your podcast so everybody wins. They get a digital asset. You get their story told. You can connect them or I can, we both can connect them with people in our community. That way, they're always meeting people. They're always getting value from your relationship because you're going to fill these out and then you're going to put you're on the cover. Picture you on the cover. You're a key person of influence. Remember, we have the book here. You got to, the strategy of being a key person of influence is building that digital profile. Well, this is available on Amazon. Inside of here are 20 stories from your 36. So you're building this out, then you're inviting them to be on your podcast. You're giving them exposure. You're introducing them to our thriving community. You're helping them meet people and help their story to be told. Remember, people buy from people. And if you are understanding the shift that has happened, they're not buying from companies because social media promoted this. People buy from people. Emotions, you connect with people. You don't connect with companies. I've had somebody say, "What about Nike? They're a big company." Yes, what about them? Who are their people? Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Serena Williams. Let me think. There's a bunch of them. They all have personalities in different sports because people buy from people. People buy from people. So if you want to grow your business, you have to shift your thinking. You've been promoting your company, shift to you. The magic is in you and anything is possible. And when you shift to the magic and you understand how to build your key strategic partner team, you're going to bring your relationships and your team to your ideal prospect. And when you do that and you put yourself on the cover, you're the key person of influence, you're on the cover and you're surrounded by your key strategic team. So you go to your ideal prospect and you present your value pitch. And instead of just you bring your whole team. So a person gets your whole team, your thriving community. One person presents one person, another person presents a thriving community in a book. You can order this from Amazon. You can go to pkane.me/magazine. You can see a copy. You're ready? Like, this is buying signal time. If you're ready and you want to invest in yourself, you can, because we're going to train you how to do this. We have a course on it. So you put an investment of $1,000 in you. You're on the cover of the magazine. Then we build your partnerships, your team collaboration. And that's where we get the cash flow, because you're not doing just one person. It's kind of like, picture yourself when you do a one-on-one with somebody. Most of them last an hour. But what if you're speaking to a group of 200 people and the other person's doing a one-on-one? One on 200 or one-on-one? Which one do you want? One magazine that has a whole key strategic team in it? You're bringing your relationships to the value table. You're going to always win, because if you're competing against somebody that's only bringing themselves and you're bringing a team, you will be able to do the business with your ideal prospect. So go to magazine, and we do live events once a month. We do virtual events on the 1st and 3rd. We connect you with our community. We do a global connect starting next week, where we'll introduce you to our global connections. It's a meetup, and I don't have the slide for it, but it's on here. You can register. We do them on Wednesday, except not this Wednesday. I got my grandkids coming. So We believe in being bold, make a difference, and have fun. We have fun with what we do. And so if you want to be a guest on the podcast and you've never been, go to PeteKane.me and be a guest. And building thriving communities is what we do. Now, when you look at the best now, along with our collaborative magazine, is Substack, because you can be local and global. You can capture their email and you can engage with them, and you can monetize with what they call paywall, because cash flow is king. Your thriving community, it's like a newsletter on steroids, if that's a good verbal thing to tell you. But that is part of our community building. We want you to build a community inside of a community. Inside of our community, it's global. You may think local, but then you start acting global. Global is your digital profile. So when you look at your digital profile, you look at the ability that within the key person of influence, you're 7, 11, 4, 7 hours, 11 buying signals, and 4 different platforms. What is this? Number 2 is your digital profile. And if you build your digital profile, your partnerships can come from your community. So that's why it's so important to build thriving communities. So the 3 things that I discovered in my journey, and I started podcasting when my partner said, "Why don't you do podcasting? You like to play golf, do golf podcasting." Well, I do like golf, but I haven't played that much at all. I didn't feel it. I shipped to seniors when I moved into Overture. The average age was 80. And I felt that, hey, look, I want to help the seniors with what's out there, what options are available to them. It's a growing business, the seniors. So now I do 20% of it seniors and 80% local. So in this is free. So get yourself, we have, I don't think, let me see. No, I know you can go to Connect, go to PeteKane.me/connect, and we'll put something up there, because we want you to start as much as you possibly can with free stuff. Check it out first. Always sample things. That's why people give you free parts of their software. It's not to live in free for the rest of your life, and some exceptions. But most of the time it's, will it be able to be implemented in your business? And if it is, pay for it. They don't build softwares on free. They build it sampling it. Costco does samples because they want you to see the value of that product. Do you like it? Are you willing to invest your money? And in this case, come on our podcast. See if you like it. Why wouldn't you? You're telling your story. Why? Generating leads, creating cash flow, and building thriving communities. If you want that, then hey, let's get you on. If you do, your world is your oyster. If you really see the value, because when we look at it, podcasting, publishing, and building thriving communities is what we do. And if you want to be a part of that, you can always send a support ticket. You can call me, actually. Most people have my number. Okay, but I want to give you something as I wind down. I want to give you our masterclass. This is our 10 steps to grow and scale your business. PeteKane.me/masterclass. That's my gift to you. Now, you can always get access to our Key Strategic Partner training, because if you understand this relationship wheel and you know that your network is your single biggest, most valuable asset, and you learn to nurture them, you put them on your podcast and you think strategic versus tactical, you're going to love it, because your 12 categories start here, 3 in each category. 36 becomes an opportunity to take your 20 best, invite them to be part of your magazine. Okay. And if you want to be part of that, go to petekane.me/magazine. So, okay, I want you to be successful. What's the first thing to do? Get on my podcast. If you've never been on my podcast, go to petekane.me and be a guest on our podcast so I can show you the value of your story, the value of thriving communities, introducing you and give you a taste of the new world that we're getting into. The future is so bright, I probably need sunglasses. And for you, if you've been stuck doing one-on-ones and doing it one at a time, it's time that you thought about a different strategy. And if you think of a different strategy, the world's going to be your oyster. So thank you so much. These are always sponsored by Growth Day, because Growth Day allows us to be a part of a personal development community. Because if you're part of a personal development community, you're going to grow every day, because we call it the 5 to Thrive. And it's every single day I have Brendon Burchard speaking to me, giving me a framework, challenging me. 5 things, 2 thought-provoking questions for the day. You score yourself, and there's a related video that aligns with the message for the day. What if you could take a shower in personal development? What would you be like in a year, in a month, in a week? We know we take physical showers to stay clean, so people will want to be around us. Take a mental shower with Growth Day and be fresh. Work on this. I had a person on a podcast and they asked him, he had built a bunch of companies. They said, what was the single biggest thing that helped you in your mindset? Everybody goes for the tactics. Everybody goes for, I got to buy this. I got to buy that. Get this right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right, your mindset right. You have a library of learning. You can journal. Journal that develops clarity. And if you have clarity, you have one of the 5 high-performance habits. Clarity is number 1. Energy, number 2. Purpose is 3. 4 is productivity. And the last one is influence. I was just with somebody saying, I wish I had more influence. It's a skill. It's a skill. And you can learn it because we have strategy sessions available. So book a strategy session. Go to petekane.me/SS. If you're stuck, you don't know where you're going, you sound interesting, that you want to build relationships, you want to learn, you want to be part of thriving communities, and you're not sure how to do that, book a strategy session with us. petekane.me/SS. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you. I appreciate. If you find value in what we've shared today, please share it with people, somebody you care for, because if we don't have thriving businesses, we don't have a thriving economy. We all want it, but there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of choices. And if you choose us, we'll make you and help you be successful because we care. We want to be bold, make an impact, and have fun. That's our motto. Be bold. Oops, I think I saw a chat on here. Comment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, same thing. I don't know. I probably ought to. I can't get to remove this space. I don't know. Hey, just reach out to me. You've done it before. support@petekane.me. Send us a support ticket. Thank you so much, because be bold, make a difference, and have